Salutations, mini mathematicians. Happy test day. You're going to do so great. Hopefully you have this warm-up handout. I'm just going to be doing the same thing, but my pages are just going to be a little bit bigger. You're going to need, remember, a ruler, straight edge, something to draw lines with your test, and you're going to need a calculator. Hopefully you already have your cheater defeater, and after we do this warm-up, you'll clear everything off your desk, put up your cheater defeater, and get a piece of scratch paper to do the Google form. Make sure your Chromebooks are closed on your desk for now, though. We're just going to be going over your Google form that you did last class. So the first question says select all relationships below that are non-proportional linear relationships. So what we're looking for is we're looking for a constant change in y over change in x, but we are looking at y over x not being constant. So our first one has y equals mx plus b, where our y-intercept is not 0, so we're going to select option 1. Here, this is going to be proportional. It goes to the origin. Our initial value is 0. If we look at our next table, our change in x, we go by 2, 2, and 2. Our change in y, we go by 2, and 4, and 4. So notice our change in y over change in x is not constant. This is not a linear relationship. If we look at our next option, we notice our change in y over change in x ends up being 12 over 4. 12 to 24, you add 12. 24 to 36, you add 12. 36 to 48, you add 12. You're always adding 4 in the x. However, yes, this is linear, but we still have to check if it's proportional or not. You still need to check if it's proportional or not. But it is proportional because that ratio of y over x is constantly 3. So just be aware of that. If we are asking for linear and not proportional, you do have to check both. Linear, we're looking at the change in y over change in x. Not proportional, that y over x ratio is not going to be equal. And then when we get to our final option, option 5, we have our change in y over change in x is constant. Our x is changing by 1, while our y is changing by 5. So our slope is 5 for this equation. It is not proportional because your y over x ratio, it is changing. And remember, if you weren't sure, you can always grab your calculator and we could put 14 divided by 3. Oops. 14 divided by 3. And you get this decimal, and you can always press that second button and then the fraction to decimal f to d, which is our PRB button. And then we get 4 2/3. And then we can do the next one, 19 divided by 4, y over x. We have 4.75, which maybe you just want to press the second button, fraction to decimal. That's 4 3/4. So notice these are not equal, so we know it's not proportional. Awesome. Let's look at the next one. We have the ABC movie theater. It charges $15 admission and a $3 per snack. Independent variable is always x. Well, our total cost depends on the number of snacks. So our number of snacks is independent and our money spent is dependent. What depends on what is what you want to be thinking of. So our next one, we want to know what is the rate of change for the situation. Because it's $3 per snack, it's changing per snack. Our rate of change is $3 per snack. And then the last one asks us, using the variables you defined in part 2a and 2b, where x was the number of snacks and y is the total cost, write an equation in slope-intercept form. So y equals 3x plus 15. 3 is your $3 per snack or your rate of change. 15 is your $15 admission or your initial value. And if you weren't sure if that worked, you can think about making a table. And if you bought 2 snacks, that's going to be $6. Plus the $15 that you have for the admission is going to be $21. So we can check if this makes our equation true. Is 21 equal to 3 times 6 plus 15? Does 21 equal 3 times 6 is 18? Oh, 3 times 2. What was I thinking? I was thinking ahead already. Plug in 2 for x. 6 plus 15. Is that 21? Yes, 21 is equal to 21. Perfect. So you can always check if your equation matches the situation if you have time. The next one asks, what is the slope of the graph? Is it positive or negative? Remember, we read graphs from left to right. It's negative, it's decreasing. Next one, same thing. We have this vertical line. Our rise over run ratio is a number divided by 0, which is undefined. You can't ski a vertical line. Where if you had a horizontal line, our rise over run ratio is 0 over a number, which gets you 0. If you can ski a horizontal line, but it is 0 fun. Looking at the next one, we read graphs from left to right. It is a positive slope. It's increasing from left to right. And looking at this next one, we want to find the slope of a line. So there's two things you can do. First, you always want to notice if it's negative or positive, your slope. I notice it's negative. You could take the 2 points and count your rise and run. Make sure to check if your axis is going by ones or not. Or you could also write out the 2 points and use the formula, change in y over change in x. Circle your y's because those go on top. Circle your y's and decide if you want to do -2 minus -5 or -5 minus -2. I decided to do -2 minus -5, so I have to keep the order consistent. So in my denominator, I have to do 4 minus 8. I get -3/2, 3/4, 3/4. If you count rise over run, you also get -3/4. Double check if your slope should be negative or positive. Don't get the problem wrong because you lost a negative. The next one, you want to find the slope. So we're going to look at the same thing. I notice my line is positive, increasing from left to right. You could draw a right triangle and see that the rise is 8 and the run is 2. So I get a +4. Or you could write down those coordinates, circle your y's. I decided to do 8 minus 0, so I have to do 2 minus 0 and simplify to get 4. We always simplify our slope. We always write it as a fraction. Our next coordinate, we had to use our slope formula to show our work. So our slope is change in y over change in x. You might also see it as y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So here I circled my y's. I decided to do 12 minus 8 to keep with positive numbers. So then I had to do 10 minus 2 in the denominator, which is 4/8, which reduces to 1/2. And then here I noticed I do have the same x values. If I use my formula, I circled my y's, I decided to do 10 minus -3, which turns into 10 plus 3. So I have to do 8 minus 8 in the denominator. I get 13 divided by 0, which is undefined. I'm not going to move on until I make a quick sketch and plot those points to double check that I do have, indeed, a vertical line. Next problem, you've seen this so much, it's been on your quiz, on your homework. Find the value of x if the slope is 2/7. Slope, remember, is rise over run, so 2/7 equal to the rise over run of your line here. I'm going to use cross products to solve, which means I multiply across. 2 times x is equal to, multiplying across, 7 times 10. I get x to equal 35. The next one says, in your equation slope-intercept form, translated down 3 from y equals 5x. Remember, down 3, we are just subtracting 3 from our equation. Our slope stays the same. They are parallel to each other. We do not change the slope. Filling in our missing part, we have our rule of y plus 2. So our previous y, we are always just adding 2. And the next one wants to know what translation represented from the original line to the translated line. So my original to my translated, I notice I'm going down, and I'm going to count a couple of the coordinates to double check. We're going down 3, so y minus 3 is our rule. Yay! Excellent job, mathematicians. Put away your warm-up. Get set up for your test. You are going to do awesome. Have a piece of scratch paper. See you later.